here's the announcements. Pimpin' Craigslist, the ultimate garage sale, and Storage Auctions 101, and the new Storage Auction Buyer's Handbook you can get on Kindle. Everything else, if you want a physical copy, you can also get that on Amazon or my blog. And for you wonderful people who got those free downloads, yeah, I'm saying it again, go ahead and grab a copy of The Porn's Always in the DVD player and leave a 5-star review when you're done, because you're going to love it. All right, now to the video. Hey, I got a question for you. Would you buy storage units if you were making $1 million a month? Would you crawl around through stuff if you were making $1 million a month? What would you be doing if you were making $1 million a month? I'm going to make some assumptions here. You would probably be hanging out, doing whatever the hell you want to do if you were making $1 million a month, $12 million a year. After taxes, that still leaves several $1 million, regardless of what tax rate you pay. But what you own a business that has employees, cost, taxes. So you're getting a ton of tax breaks, so you're not even in that high tax bracket. If you had all of that going on, would you buy or go through storage units? And the question is, well, really the answer is no, you wouldn't. I wouldn't. If I was making $1 million a month, shit, let's be real, if I was making $1 million a year, I wouldn't have probably never gotten into the storage auction business. Regardless of how interesting it may be. There's a few people with a little change that are getting into the business, but if you have that type of capital, income, to do whatever you want, and maybe some would get into the game, but most people are not. Because if you could live in London half the year and hang out with Tom Cruise or whoever else that lives over there, probably wouldn't. And the reason I put this forth is people are like, why don't these storage auction facilities keep the units? Why don't they just keep them for themselves? It makes no sense. Because I think many people have no idea, and even today, the well-established chains and the larger properties, they still make this kind of money. Yes, rents are down, census is down, but they're still making a lot of money. And that is the situation for a company that has, say 12 properties. Let's just say 12 or more properties. That's kind of where they are. Yeah, I know it's shocking, right? Because many companies use storage facilities as mini warehouses. And there's all kinds of dedicated business that they get, because one of the reasons I know this, and this comes from doing your own work. This comes from actually going out, talking to people, and learning about your business. Because when you do that, you get this kind of information. I was at a property cleaning out a unit, and the manager, I'm not gonna lie, she was sexy as hell. Probably the best looking manager out of all of the chain. I mean, and to make it even better, she was nice. And we're just talking. So I was like, hey, what are you doing? I finished cleaning out the unit. Their company policy was they had to come out, check the unit, make sure it was clean, because, if you didn't tell them it wasn't clean. So we did that. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna have to go to lunch. And she said, hey, where are you going? So we go to lunch, just talking. And she tells me this stuff, that her property generates anywhere from $92,000 to $97,000 a month, and it's been doing that year in. And over half of the units were dedicated rentals, i.e., rented by a company. They just got a check every month. Never even saw the people, and it just blew my mind. And she said her property was not the highest earning property in the chain, and they had 16 properties before they sold out. And my mouth fell open. It just, in my mind, because when you get in the business, you have a lot of assumptions. You don't know. You think stuff, and in your mind, 1 + 1 should equal 2. But sometimes you're not dealing with 1 + 1. You're dealing with 2 + 6. And since you think you're dealing with 1 + 1 and you come up with 2, it should be right, but you didn't factor in the right variables to begin with. That's why I asked this question, because this is a huge question. It's like, why don't they keep it? Because these are the people who are drinking the Kool-Aid of the storage auction television shows, and they're not really knowing what's going on. Because seriously, I thought about getting into it, but at this juncture, for the newcomers, the market is pretty well saturated. So you're not going to get those kind of returns. Like, essentially, a lot of these companies buy and sell and shuffle, the storage facility rental, portfolios. They're like bundle up and they sell them and that kind of stuff. But I know one guy who owned his place outright. He went out and took a hell of a business loan. He only had one property, and he actually sold it to Extra Space. And the price tag for this one property that he owns, and I saw the guy. He was a little short guy with a little buzz haircut. Kind of reminded you of like a small drill sergeant or a drill instructor. Real slim, proper type guy. And he sold that one property for 5 to 6 million. And the chick that worked there said he only owed 1.5 million on it. So he cashed out and went on about his life, and that was just one property. There was just one property. And actually, that's not correct because it was a downtown property. I think the number was 10, and he owed 1.5. Yeah, I think he sold it for 10. That one property. And this was a long time ago. This was a long time ago. And I was just like, wow. So that's kind of why, most of them, mom and pops, where the guy only has one storage facility, yeah, they may go in there. But if they are of the business of storage rental, that's their main business. If you watch this channel a long time, it's like, mind your business, work your business. My business right now is writing. That's my business. That's what I do. I recently got 2 emails from TV productions. Hey, Glennie, we like your channel. We want to develop a TV show. I.e., what we want to do is have a conversation with you and pick your brain for some ideas because we don't know what the hell we're doing and we're way behind the curve. I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be part of that. What's my business? Writing. Putting out books. That's what I do. And I've taken a lot of time to really immerse myself into that because that's my business. So whatever your business is, that's what you need to focus on. And that's what the best run storage facilities do. With millions of rooms coming up every year for auction, that is not even 10% of the rooms that they have rented out. It's not 5%. It's like maybe 1%. That's what comes up for auction. And not a lot of rooms come up for auctions when you compare and contrast that to the number of rooms that they have rented. Not a lot. Some properties have more than others, but most it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Certain properties in the hood, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50. Peter Street. At one point at Christmas, they had 100 rooms up for auction. 100. So the people who manage their businesses well, they're about the business of renting units to people. Public storage and for years was the best source of storage auctions because they didn't care if the unit went for $1. They didn't care if it went for, actually they kind of hated it when it went over because then they had to go through all this paperwork because if the person claimed their money, they had to get it in overage. They really didn't like for the units to go over. I remember we were at the auction and the bidding was getting kind of high and the guy was like, oh God, please don't let this go over such amount because then I got to deal with this asshole even longer. And I was like, how much does he owe? And he's like, $1,250. I was like, $1,250. She said, sold. Everyone got pissed, right? I'm serious. He did that. He really did that. It was a great room. It was at the Brookhaven location. And people were like, what the fuck? You got to think on your feet when you do this because opportunity's there. That's why, I talk really bad about all the whiners online because they have no idea how deep this business is because they have not jumped in and immersed themselves in the business. It's like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I didn't get a good unit. It's unfair. Everyone's ganging up on me, little bitch. Stop that shit. But there was a little controversy about that because people and once they say sold, it's sold. Because I said $1,250. He said going once, going twice, sold. He went bam, 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 bam. And when the managers actually like your ass, they will close shit quicker for you than they will for folks they don't like. Yeah, that happens. It happens a lot. And people are, well, it shouldn't. Fuck you. I got myself a killer unit. And he had some nice stuff. He was a gay dude. So you know what I say? Gay dudes have the best stuff. And that's what kind of happens. But getting back on track, the people that run these companies very, very well have very little interest in going through the units. It makes no sense for them. It doesn't. Because what did I tell you? 70% of units are going to be regular run-of-the-mill stuff. About 20% is going to be like, wow, to really good. Then 10% is going to be like, oh my God. Those were my ratios for 8+ years. They know this too. So you're going to risk your job. You're going to risk your company. You're going to risk a lawsuit for 70% chance that it's going to be regular run-of-the-mill stuff. And also, hold on. You don't know where the good stuff is in the unit. It could be right in the front. It could be in the middle. It could be in the side. It could be in the back. I know that's a popular, thing. All the good stuff's always in the back. No, it's not. I have bought units. Bam. Jewelry chest right there. Open it up. Golds right fucking in the middle. Right there in the front. So anyone that tells you it's always in the back, they haven't bought a lot of units. I have actually bought a unit and went to the unit, lifted up a cigar box, and there's like 3 gold class rings. And I got 2 really important pieces of information. Number 1, the folks at that property were real honest. Number 2, they didn't go through those units. I mean, seriously, all they do is it was right there. I have actually, the gay burglar. Seriously, the room was 5 by 10, 5 feet deep, 10 feet wide, open up a bag, 3 guns. Seriously. So that whole notion is always in the back and it's always covered up. Now, sometimes it's like right there. Just people don't know what it is. And that's the thing. But that's why, it takes time. Someone made a comment the other day, and I thought it was a good comment. Most businesses take 2 to 5 years to mature. That's reality. I don't care how bad you want it. I don't care how hard you work. There's a certain time that you must invest before your business really starts growing. That's reality. But in the same time that you can get an undergrad and a master's degree, you can have a business that's making you way more money than those degrees will earn you in the same time. I've seen it. And just like there's a whole bunch of people who went to school, graduated with a high GPA, and can't find a job because your argument's like you're going to start a business, businesses go out of business, which is true. But based on the current economy, there's a whole bunch of people with not 1 degree, 2 and 3 degrees, and their ass don't have a job and they're filing bankruptcy. So it's even risky going to school now. But we live in a culture that pushes that because, like I said, school is not a scam. I'm not going to demean it like that, but essentially, it's a profit center. School has become a business. And it's become a very good business because as colleges and universities raise their tuition rates, the government was raising the amount of money that anybody, regardless of their credit rating, could borrow. And that's one of the reasons that tuition is that high. Because I look back maybe 15 years ago, finishing up and getting my master's, about 25 grand for all that. That's 1 year right now. 15 years. That's some serious freaking inflation. Nothing else has gone up like that. But because the government will loan anybody who's breathing, just graduated high school, a massive amount of money, the tuition went up. And that's how it is. It's a business. I'm not mad at it. I work my business, they're working theirs. But, just some food for thought. Just some food for thought because I get that question all the time. And that's the reality. That's why most of them don't. Yes, some people go through the units. But the reality is most of them don't. All right, this is Glendon. We're making money with storage unit auctions.